Guys, I feel like read alouds are more than just the word suggests, more than just reading loudly. And I feel like it's even beyond the story.
I remember as a kid, I would hide novels inside my school textbooks while studying. And I would finish books like Nancy Drew, Famous Five, and occasionally Mills and Boone. Teenagers and even adults, we all love them. And I think some of the best moments, it begins with one last story, please.
Guys, today we are reading The Paper Dolls. Can I ask you all a thinking question? What do you think this book is about? Let's make a prediction.
I think this little girl is making origami paper dolls. I knew Merin is going to say this. Merin, you and your love for Japan. Okay, I think that this girl is building an imaginary family with the paper dolls.
Guys, this book is about a girl who makes some paper dolls with her mum and does so many fun things with it. Let's read. There was once a girl who had tiger slippers and a ceiling with stars on it and a butterfly hair slide which she kept losing, like Pooja. And 2 goldfish. And a very nice mum who helped her to make some paper dolls.
You know, the ceiling and the stars on it? That reminds me that I had a set of glow-in-the-dark stars and planets.
Yeah, I remember that.
As a child, which I had stuck on my bedroom ceiling.
I had them too. They would like be neon colored and then,
Guys, I want you all to make a connection. Share some things that you like to do with your mom when y'all were kids.
You know, whenever my mom would knead the dough to make rotis, I would linger around in the kitchen with her. And we would use the dough to make small snowmen. I still remember that. It was too much fun.
So my mom would bake a lot and I would be sitting on the kitchen top counter just waiting for her to not finish making the cake, but for the batter bowl so that I can just lick it clean.
I can totally visualize.
Yeah, I think that's some of the fondest memories that I have with her.
Guys, some wonderful connections. Let's read on. They were Ticky and Tacky and Jackie the Backy and Jim with 2 noses and Joe with a bow. And they danced and they jumped and they sang. And they met a dinosaur who clawed and roared and said, "I'm going to get you." Guys, what do you think is going to happen next?
I think the dinosaur is just playing tag with the kids.
Or hide and seek.
Let's find out. But the paper doll sang, "You can't get us. Oh, no, no, no. We're holding hands and we won't let go. We're Ticky and Tacky and Jackie the Backy and Jim with 2 noses and Joe with a bow." And they jumped onto a bus and rode to a farmyard and danced with the pigs. Let's make suggestions. Let's think about different things that these paper dolls can do on a farm. I think they can milk cows.
I think they can go on a horseback ride.
I think that they can sow some seeds and grow some vegetables.
So, this book goes on to talk about the different things this little girl does with her paper dolls. But then there is a problem in the story. Can you think what the problem in the story can be?
Maybe her paper doll stare?
Or get stolen?
Guys, even worse. Let's find out. But along came a boy with a pair of scissors, and he said, "I'll snip you." Oh no. How would you feel if someone broke something you loved?
I would be really angry.
I would be devastated. I would feel terrible. Probably burst into tears.
Guys, we'll find out what happens next at another time.
Hi, I'm Pooja, and welcome back to Conversations with Speeches.
Hi, I'm Alicia.
Hi, I'm Merin. What you just witnessed was an interactive read aloud. And that's what we are going to be talking about today. What they are, why they matter, and why speech therapists absolutely love them. When I say read aloud, what does that mean to you?
Read alouds were my entire childhood. Like, I still remember my bedtime would be incomplete without my mom reading out to me. And I think Enid Blyton was my absolute favorite. I still remember how she would describe children going on an adventure, those secret passageways, and even the countryside, like the farmlands and the cows grazing. Like, even today, when I go on long drives and the place is green and quiet, I end up saying that this is out of the Enid Blyton novel. So I think that is what read alouds do to you. You end up connecting stories to real life, even without realizing it. And these stories, they stay with you.
I loved Enid Blyton too, like the pixies, the brownies, all of the stories. So read alouds were a big part of my childhood too. And I'm an avid reader today, and I feel like that's because of the exposure I had as a child. You know, I have this memory of like long journeys when I went on like train rides and or like long car rides. My parents usually read to my brother and me, of course, to kind of keep us busy and engaged. But it was always like for us, like one more chapter, tell us more. And it's so vivid in my mind. Like even today, I have always read to my son Kian, and it has been an integral part of our bedtime routine. So even though he's 12 now and he reads by himself before he sleeps, but I still want to like, hang around, still read that one page together with him. Maybe not read aloud, but just like sit with him and read. And I feel like that connects us.
I remember as a kid, I would hide novels inside my school textbooks while studying. And I would finish books like Nancy Drew, Famous Five, and occasionally Mills and Boone. And I would be lost in another world. I would look like a sincere student from the outside, but that's not what was happening. And this explains a lot about us as adults. Why we love books and why we love doing read alouds.
Madam, you were not hiding, just multitasking. Okay. But today we are therapists. And what do these read alouds mean to us today?
Guys, I feel like read alouds are more than just the word suggests, more than just reading loudly. And I feel like it's even beyond the story. Read alouds are thinking aloud together. For example, in a story like the No David book, which I love reading, I often ask, why do you think David did that? And then I reflect and I say, maybe he was bored. I'm thinking aloud. And the children that I'm reading to are kind of understanding my thought process. So when we do read alouds, children are learning to connect the dots, make predictions, think about the whys. Also, read alouds build vocabulary, build descriptive language, and even narrative skills.
Yeah, and the best part is that kids don't have to talk a lot to be part of it. Some may point to something, some may just smile and say it, some may copy a line that they love or pick a favorite word. And some may respond in any manner that they prefer. all of that is communication. And language doesn't always have to start with complete sentences or long narratives.
Absolutely. I agree with that. You know what I love about read alouds? That it turns children into these little detectives. They learn how to read expressions from pictures, even read between the lines. They understand meanings of words. They even begin to notice the changes in tone of the reader. And there is no right or wrong when you're sharing opinions during a read aloud, right? Um, it teaches children to take perspective. So you are stepping into the character's shoes and you're learning how the character is thinking and feeling.
Yeah. I also feel like the magic is in the pause. When we're reading and then we stop and we say, so what do you think? And then children are like, hey, this happened to me, or like this happened to my cousin.
Yeah.
That's when we know that they're processing the story, right? And making these connections is actually helping them really unpack the story and process the story better and store this in their long-term memory.
Yeah. And I just wanted to clarify something. Read alouds not only look at how much the child is comprehending, or we don't only pay attention to the child if they're able to remember everything that's being spoken. It's more about sharing a moment together and listening to rich language that really helps with comprehension, writing, emotional insight, and critical thinking.
As you're saying this, it is making me think about children who have reading challenges or children who have language delays. I think read alouds can become a game changer because the children don't have to struggle reading every word and you're just focusing on the story. I'm also wondering, what if children can't sit still?
Who says the expectation is sitting still, right? A child can walk around, fidget, draw, or even enact the story, and they're still listening. Attention doesn't always look like sitting still, focusing, making eye contact, or being quiet.
Yeah, and for those kids who find listening hard, we slow things down for them. We repeat important lines, or we show them pictures. We maybe even summarize the story for them. For some kids, we even preview the story, like how Alicia did during the read aloud. She said, this story is about a girl who makes paper dolls with her mum. Emphasizing on that really helps.
Yeah. I also think choosing the right book matters a lot. There are some children who will enjoy books which are touch and feel books. There are some who would enjoy books where the language use is minimal. There are a few words. There are some children who may like books where pictures are not very busy and they are less cluttered. I am also thinking about kids who process language in chunks, Gestalt language processors, books with repetitive phrases, or books with rhythm and rhyme, like I'm thinking of Brown Bear by Eric Carle. These books make listening to a story feel so safe and manageable, and then the kids stay with the story, and being read aloud is also fun for them.
One thing I love is also making story maps. When you draw out the characters and then you draw out what happens next, you draw out, say, and you think about a problem in the story, you come up with a solution and the end. It really makes the story so visible, and it helps children learn sequencing, helps children, like I said, develop narrative skills, and also create their own stories. It really gets the cogwheels turning.
Yeah, and read alouds don't always have to be long. They could be 5 minutes or 20 minutes. They could be in any setting. Yeah. It does not need an elaborate setup. It could be on the sofa, on the bed, or in the car. Also, read alouds are not only for toddlers. Teenagers and even adults, we all love them. And I think some of the best moments, it begins with one last story, please.
One last story.
Read aloud one of your Japanese tales for us.
Sure, let's do it.